my Director McAleer, myself present, Director Shu,
Present.
Director Friebel,
Present.
Director Walker,
Here.
Director Wagner.
Here.
We have a quorum and we can now conduct the meeting. We'll start with, begin our meeting with an invocation and pledges of allegiance. Everyone please rise. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today as an assembled body, and we humbly request that you bless our meetings, our community, our state, and our nation. Help us to work diligently, always for the common good and in the best interest of those who we have been elected to represent. Guide us to be insightful and prudent in our intentions, visions, deliberations, decisions, and plans, and that there be fulfillment of the work through us. We provide a spirit of welcome to all in attendance and a willingness to engage in respectful and thoughtful dialogue and discussion with wisdom, understanding, and humility. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
If you wish, prior to us reciting the pledges of allegiance, please take a moment of silence and additional reflection in the manner of your preference. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we will recite the pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now I pledge to the Texas flag.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Do have things to sign. Okay. Shelley, are there any comments that we need to receive from the public? No, thank you. Okay. And do we need to consider and act on any requests for adjustments or relief?
I haven't.
Okay. Okay, next. On the consent agenda, are there any comments on the consent agenda that we have from the minutes, the financial reports, the tax collectors reports, or approving any attendance and expenses for the district and or the Woodlands Water Trustee business? Do you hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Okay, a motion from Director Friebel, seconded by Director Shu. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good, the consent agenda is approved. Now we can move on to the regular agenda. Number 9, review the district's draft fiscal year 2026 through 2027 operating budget and recommended water rate structure.
And you have a budget packet here with a cover page, and then that really just talks about how things come together and some of the assumptions. And then the budget here as well. The overall budget, you can see what we try to do on those items that have a plus or minus 10%, put in some comments so you can have some perspective on what may or may not be changing there. Overall expenditures, for slight increase 1%, with the main change being the items on the back, which this is all working through in the tan area. As you can see, a couple of big line items are, and that is the sewer repairs. So if you recall, we're in phase 2 of the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. So phase 3 will be coming in the future. So what we did, you see that we have some expenses in here for engineering to complete your share of phase 3. We took out the construction of phase 3 from last year's budget. We were hopefully get it done in the current budget. It looks like we'll do engineering next year, and then we'll budget for the actual construction, which y'all don't have very much left. because phase one and phase two got most of that work done for about 60. But there'll be a little bit coming back in 2028 for sanitary sewer rehab. You can see that number went down from about 90,000 to 8,600. So that we're not expecting to do a whole lot. Also, you'll see on 5300.12, large ditch repair. If you recall, that's where we did, and the storm sewer repair just below that. Those are the two items that encapsulate all the ditch work that we've been doing this last year. So as we indicated to you, we felt like that was probably going to be a 12 to 18, 24 month process. So we've got a big chunk of that done. So you see that some of that budget is actually going to be coming down because we knocked off much of the work for Mud 60. So still a little bit left. We did put in the budget last year some additional piping and things, but overall going down. So the final projected cash reserve that we always look at is how many months of reserve that do you have? We will projecting to end the year in this fiscal year at about 18 months. And as you can see, the proposed actually goes up to 22.9 as it relates to your current rates and also your tax rate, which we'll talk about here in a minute, for an expected ending balance next year of about 10.5 million.
Does this page reflect our pro rata share of what's going on everywhere in the Woodlands? Or does this reflect what's actually being done within Mud 60?
Just Mud 60.
Just
Yes,
within.
correct.
Okay.
And then the summation of that, of the TAN, 1.169, as you can see, correlates directly with, on the front page, 53. So that's where that line item comes in on your expenses. And then, all these other items are your share of the various things that go through WWA.
Good.
But that line item is just y'all.
Just us.
Right now, the trustee budget looks somewhat similar, and that 10 section on that one is the accumulation of all 10. So your number would be in that one, but for yours, this is just you.
Okay.
Yep.
And the revenue is based on the number of tanks we have in Mud 60, or is revenue based on everybody and it's a pro rata share of revenue?
No, the revenue, so the revenue that comes in is through your tax rates. That's one revenue stream. The other is your water and sewer rates. And that is related to the water that your just Mud 60 customers use on a regular basis. Okay. And then WWA charges the MUDs an admin fee so that we can do our job. And that is in here as well.
Okay.
And that is charged to you based on a per connection basis, per MUD. So whatever your connections are, that's what your admin fee gets charged to. So everything is associated with just Mud 60.
Okay, so it's not a percentage of the revenue that comes in, it's a annual tax.
For the admin fee. But the water revenue is what is used by your fund residents.
Thank you.
So you're saying the expenditures will increase by 1%
Overall,
overall? Okay.
revenue up 4%. And that's why you're seeing that increase in reserve of 18 months, 20, almost 23.
Mhm.
Very, very healthy. Obviously,
Yeah, that's good.
very, very healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have, considerable expenses coming forward, but, that, as we've talked about, I think there was some confusion amongst some new directors that where would the money come from to pay for like tier 1 water line stuff? Well, that's
For the future.
right. That expense or debt service requirement is translated to a wholesale rate that gets passed to the customer. So it's not a separate tax. Currently, it's not a separate tax income from to your customers. It's through the wholesale water rate. Or would be.
The water rate might increase.
Water rate might increase
Depending on
unless
the
the MUDs and trustees decide something else,
Right.
another revenue stream, like taxes.
We'll get to that later.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So this is proposed, and so the income, the revenue that comes into this budget as it relates to your tax revenue is based on what you're going to hear in a minute on the tax rate recommendation. So if there's a change to that, it would change here too.
Right. Okay.
So we're not voting on this today.
Not, I don't think so. We would.
Is it today vote?
It is not,
Not
no.
today. That's
It is for us too.
that's September, I believe, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, and one thing to note, it's not in this budget. It came up late last week. I guess Brian received a call from a developer that has a developer agreement with Bud 60 from years ago that he never cashed in on, basically, as far as getting his reimbursement for the infrastructure that's put in. Well, I mean, that's not uncommon. You'll get these from time to time if there's any old contracts that were never reimbursed. So-
Isn't there a statute of limitations on that?
Well, their agreement's for 15 and you're like 7 years in.
Oh,
So, yeah, it's David Weekly. They did the residential development there on the lake, on Lake Shore. So they had a reimbursement agreement for the public infrastructure for that. So we've asked them for the cost information. There was
Okay.
estimated amounts. So y'all did, well, the previous board did an agreement with them that, was fairly limited in terms of their reimbursement. It was actual costs. They were not eligible for developer reimbursement. And there was the option for the district to be able to pay that out over 4 installments. So we've asked them for the actuals because the estimated was a little over, about $500,000. $500,000.
I heard trillion.
Yeah. You're thinking about federal government now.
yeah, that's on Fox.
So we've asked them for the actuals because I think it'd be a good idea. I mean, y'all have certainly sufficient budget, but it'd be good for transparency to have that in the budget, a quarter of the amount of whatever the actual is. So we've asked them for that. They may come to your next board meeting as well. Just kind of giving up on, what they did since it's a new board. I did tell them that the entire board has changed since they did that agreement, and did suggest to them it would be a good idea for them to come introduce themselves to you, kind of give y'all a recap of what they did out there, and then, go from there. So that's not in the budget, but you may put it in there based on actuals.
Maybe you can see your reserves go up, and so you're pretty healthy in that regard. So, even if you chose to just get rid of it and pay it, it's about $500,000. But once we have the actuals from them, we'll be able to better
Right.
adjust this as needed, and you all can decide how you implement that.
Okay.
Is that a one-time payment?
Of the overall amount, if the agreement says you have the option to pay over 4 installments, then you can choose to do that, or you can choose to just wipe it out at once. That's a decision for y'all. We can look at the budget and see what it does fully or as a quarter and do it over years. You can see the difference there if you want. We can look at that differently, or, show it differently if you want. Either way, but I would say if there's any reason not to do it quarterly at $500,000, if that's really what it ends up being, with as healthy as you are, you might consider just
Wiping it out.
cutting it out. But that's a decision.
And we will have to go, because it is a developer reimbursement, we do have to go to TCEQ. So we'll have to get the engineer to prepare a report requesting for the use of funds to be able to pay a developer. That's a regulatory requirement, whether you're using bond proceeds or operating proceeds. If it's funds from a district to a developer, the TCEQ has to approve that.
So there's some process steps to go.
But we're going to be approving this budget in September, correct? So how does that timing work? Could you say there's some steps that you have to go through?
Likely we'll probably need direction. I mean, if we want to just stick with the way it's written and just put a quarter of that in, so you can see what that looks like, that's probably the safest play. And then it still will take months to go through the TCEQ process to be able to release those funds. But it won't really change it one way or the other. I mean, you can kind of see where the bottom line numbers fall out today with without it.
I like putting a quarter in myself.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Moving on to number 10, consider an act on the Montgomery Central Appraisal District's fiscal year 2026-2027 budget.
Last time we told you that their proposed budget was out and it was at a 5.51% increase. They talked to several jurisdictions and they wanted it reworked. So now they've done a revised budget, which is out on the Google Drive. They went from 18 FTEs to 16 and they took out their merit increase. So now the budget is down from 20 million to 19 million. It's a 2.83% increase and your savings is $200.06. From the
That's a-
5.51 to 2.83.
Is that for an average resident, you're saying?
No, that's what you pay
Our district.
Oh,
for the Montgomery Central Appraisal District. That's your fee that everybody pays every year for appraisals. So, and the revised budget's on the Google Drive. It's the proposed one.
I just need maybe clarification. You said 18 SE versus 16?
18, they
It
reduced
was
it.
18 and
yeah.
now it's down to 16.
They
Okay.
got rid of the merit increase too.
Yeah.
And it took away their merit increase. Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So we're gonna go with that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeannie. Okay, number 11, receive the financial advisor's recommendation concerning the district's proposed 2026 tax rate, determine the intended tax rate, and authorize A, the required notice that the board will consider adoption of a tax rate, and B, the means of providing such notice.
Good afternoon, David Wood. Happy to be here to discuss your tax rate for the 2026 tax year and, start the process that we go through each year to set our tax rate. That process requires two steps. Today is step one, where the action for today really is just to decide, upon, informing the public when we are going to levy our tax rate in the future and what the proposed tax rate that we'll consider at that future meeting is. And what's most important about today is that the proposed tax rate that's decided today and the proposed tax rate that goes into our notice of public hearing is published between this meeting and next meeting, generally establishes a maximum for the tax rate that we can ultimately levy, at step two, next month's meeting, when we do adopt a tax rate for this tax year. So, with that said, we're just establishing a maximum today and letting folks know when we are going to levy our tax this year. So on page 17, we have our recommendation with all the numbers that we should consider here. And I'll point your attention to the first bullet point in that letter. What starts this process? We received new values from the Montgomery Central Appraisal District. And for the 2026 tax year, those values show a net taxable value for the district of $2,758,000,000. That new value represents about a 6.47% increase over our 2025 taxable value, $2,590,000,000. So we have around $167 million in additional taxable value on the roll this year. And with that new tax base and new value, we are recommending a total tax rate for this year of 11.735 cents and recommending that total tax rate be made up of a debt service tax of 0.55 cents, so just over half a penny for debt service. And the remainder of that proposed total, 11.185 cents, go towards our maintenance and operations tax to fund the budget. That proposed rate of 11.185 cents for M&O produced the revenues that were in our proposed budget that we just looked at, the maintenance tax revenues that are not.
Okay, so the total tax rate from last year was 0.124965, and now it's going down to 0.11735.
That is what we're proposing, and the difference there is 0.7615 cents, or just over 3/4 of 1 penny less than last year's total rate.
I can do the math if I get my calculator out, but what's the percent decrease?
In rate,
6.09%.
6.09%.
And the assumption is we're going to collect 98% of taxes.
That is the conservative assumption that we generally apply to these
We usually
analysis.
do much better.
99.4, something like that. I've looked at the trend for like 20 years and it's slowly decreasing. It used to be like 99.9 and now it's like 99.4, something like that. It's just slowly going down slightly, but still.
If you look at page 15, you can see the historical percentage production. It doesn't dip below 99.91 in any given year,
91.
so 99.98, 97, 98.
Yeah,
Pretty significant.
99.85 was
Conservative, that's good.
before. Right. So the 98% is very conservative. We usually collect more than that, almost close to 100%.
It is conservative, but an extra percentage of collections, I wouldn't think would be materially impactful to the, the recommendation.
Budget, right. So we can happily say we've decreased our taxes over the last 5 years.
Absolutely. That is,
That's good.
Yes, high five on that.
your tax rate has certainly gone down. Yeah.
It's helped that the houses are.
Yeah, unfortunately, the appraisals are going up and, that's another issue. Okay.
David, is that fairly?
Yeah,
That is parity as far as the homestead tax bill. We'll get to there, but did want to review with y'all the second page of our recommendation, which is the pro forma debt service cash flow.
What page again?
18.
Page 18.
we-
This is the analysis behind our proposed debt service rate of 0.55 cents for 2026. Towards the center of that cash flow, you'll see the proposed rate, 0.55 cents. When applied to our new taxable value, again, assuming 98% tax collections generates around $148,000 each year of tax revenue for our debt service payments. If you look to the right, you can see annual principal and interest totals on our outstanding bonds, are somewhere in and around that $148,000. So at the end of the day, we have ending balances in our debt service fund that are projected to be, a sufficient amount, an adequate amount relative to the following year's debt service requirements. Those is debt service coverage percentages that are all in and around just about 50%. So that 0.55 cents of debt service tax rate, pays our debt service and keeps us in a good spot as far as ending balances through the remainder of our cash flow. The
Bonds mature in 2040.
final principal payment is, yes, in 2040. Will be
That's current bonds, correct? Not new bonds that we're
Non-new
planning.
bonds.
current unlimited tax bonds of the district.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I thought if we, when we replace some of the pipes, that we don't need new bonds, we have, okay,
Not district bonds.
okay. I think,
Yeah, so that's good because our debt service dropped from half to a third by the end of that time. So.
Yeah.
Assuming we don't add on anymore.
which we don't have in our pro forma here. And yeah, so I think a pretty straightforward analysis on the debt service side. On the next page of the handout, that would be page 19 of the packet. We have 3 boxes towards the top under maintenance tax rate information. On the top box there, the second row of that top box, you'll see the proposed M&O tax rate of 11.185 cents. Generates around $3,023,000 in maintenance tax revenue for the operating budget. That $1,023,000 is around $40,000 or so above what last year's M&O tax rate generated, the $2,982,000. So, slight bit of an increase in maintenance tax revenues with the proposed rates. And then that middle box here, you can see what is really, driving our proposed total rate. The proposed total rate of 11.735 cents results in a tax bill for the average homestead that is equal to last year's, right? So we had a value of the average homestead that went up from 569 to 606 year over year. But with the reduction in rate that we're proposing, that tax bill would stay, exactly the same on average for homesteads in the district year over year. That $712 bill would stay the same with the proposed rate. Box below that has some information on the rates that we calculate, under the water code in the district being a developed district, mandatory tax election rate. That is the rate, that 12.1454 cents. That is the tax rate that generate a 3.5% increase on the tax bill of the average homestead in the district. And if we were to propose a tax rate that exceeded that mandatory tax election rate, then we would need voter approval at an election to approve that higher tax rate. Of course, our proposed rate is below that mandatory tax election rate, so no issue in this case with exceeding the thresholds under the water code. And then finally, that bottom box, just some history on those tax rate reductions that we've mentioned earlier. Show you the details to, the total tax rate each year and the change in total from the prior year. So we've, have a steady history of tax rate reductions since, 2021. And our proposed rate today would continue on that. It also balanced the budget and pay the bills as far as debt service. So happy to answer any questions.
And then if we collect the 99.9 and bring in an additional
Yeah.
600K,
Exactly.
right? Give or take.
600K.
Yeah.
Right. Can I ask a question on page 16, going back, for MUD 60? We've got, talking about exemptions. I think that we voted in the past to increase our disability exemptions. I'm looking at the other MUDs. Some of them are way lower than us. But then I see MUD 47 at 35,000 and MUD 67, is it 67? No,
Yeah.
yes, at 40,000. I think that we just brought this up last year about increasing our disability exemption, I guess. I don't know if that's something we discuss now or if we're talking about Texas.
2 months ago.
Oh,
We did approve an increase.
We already did that. Okay, so
We already did that this year.
so we'd have to wait till next year to discuss this again. Okay. All right, thank you. Back to, okay, any more? Okay, do we have to discuss the means of providing the notice or did we?
That goes in the Courier, so we publish that as required, yeah. Antiquated, but legally required.
I know.
I think if it wasn't for required publications, more newspapers would probably be out of business. So,
Do we put it in our bills too?
it goes on the district's website.
Okay,
John, I think, puts it on, I thought he does it on some sites too, social media sites. I thought he does.
Probably goes.
It goes on MCAD and it goes on the county.
it goes on the impact too.
Okay.
Okay,
But then there may be voluntary, not legally required,
And that's true. too, yes.
distributions that John, I guess he's talking about the chat I do through, community outreach on tax rates. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll be kicking that out here, next month.
okay. All right, okay, moving on to,
You need to take action on that.
action on
what we do.
post.
oh, we're supposed to take action. I kept thinking that was a September.
This is just to take action to authorize publication of the district's intent to levy a tax not to exceed what's recommended by the
Can I
FA.
have a
So
motion?
I motion to authorize to post the new tax rate.
Okay, Director Friebel,
I'll second it.
and then seconded by Director Wagner. Sorry, I didn't know if it was Keith or you. So. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 12, receive the regular monthly SJRA/Woodlands Division report.
Good afternoon. On page 20 is start of the Woodlands Division operating, the operating report. July was a typical month, hot. No major issue.
Thanks for the.
I'm melting. I just melted. Just wanted to point out that the All Muds meeting for wastewater treatment facility number 1's evaluation is on September 1st.
Yeah.
Other than that, if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy.
I'd like to say thanks for the GRP. Did I say that right? The at Conroe overview and presentations.
Yeah, very well done.
I was pleasantly surprised to learn about this level of security. Because I ended up showing up at the wrong office. And I had to drive across the dam. And I learned that that's a no-no unless I'm escorted. And which I was. And I did find the correct office. And then afterwards, I was again pleasantly surprised to learn about the command center, I'll call it. I'll call it the bunker. Is that okay? With all of the large screen TVs and the operators and the backup diesel or power. And how that, when things get bad, whether you get a hurricane or you get a tornado, that looks like that's going to survive, you know, unless you have a force 5, which, you know, Xenia. But again, thank you for having us and hosting us. That was really stellar. And I'll go next time. I'll go again if that's possible.
Thank you. Let me ask a question. It's in the news about water treatment plants under attack, being hacked, or I know the security for physical security is great, but I don't know if there's been any discussion about that.
There's not a whole lot we can discuss in public,
Okay, good. You're
but we
taking care of
are
it.
well protected. We have a SCADA team. We have a IT team. There's very little connected externally, but we are protected.
And you guys go through cyber audits periodically, but
Yes.
you try to do intrusion testing from my understanding.
Eric, we've sent Eric an email that has some information he can share with you,
Uh-huh.
but please don't share that elsewhere.
No. Just, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, moving on to number 13, consider an act on the draft of Bear Branch Dam fiscal year 2026, 2027 budget and 10-year project plan.
Brett's here. Last month, we went over the Bear Branch budget and the 10-year project plan. We're here to basically ask any questions. Our budgets will be approved at the board meeting, the SRA board meeting next week.
Okay.
And so if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Mr. Brian, do we need action?
It says act, does that mean we have?
We do need your all's approval of the project plan and our budget.
And we did put, so as part of that budget, there was a $1.5 million line item add to get the dam engineering and things rolling. And if you recall, you're one of 5 contracted members responsible for maintenance of the dam. There's 5 others that are not contracted. But we were able to get the other 5 to participate certain monies last year. So we're proposing to put that in the budgets for those non-member 5. And so which means, and that was about 1.2 million overall. And so that's chewing into that 1.5 that we saw in this budget last month. So the remainder, your share of the remainder of that is there on the budget, in our budget, or your budget for 5480 on the front page. That's 67,000.
That's our share.
Of the remainder. Instead of paying a share of the 1.5, you're paying a share of 1.5 minus about 1.2. But the outside members paying in.
So that makes it 67.
Lots, that's right. It would have been bigger, but yes. And then going forward, your share, you would pay as normal.
Eric, what about 10%? I remember.
Say again?
10%, the Bear Branch allocation.
Your
Yes.
percentage.
I forgot what it
I'm trying to
was.
remember what it was.
I've seen it in past report.
It was in last month's report.
I got last month's
There are
report.
2 months around 8%. There's one at 50%, and then there's 2 other mods around 14 or 15%
I think
each.
you're on the lower end,
So you may be.
Yeah, we're the lowest, I think, aren't we?
the lowest of them.
Okay.
The lowest.
So you're
One of the.
I knew it was I was like at least less than close enough. Okay, so we need to a motion on acting on approving the fiscal budget and Bear Branch 10-year project plan.
Motion to accept it.
Director Shu makes a motion to accept. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, if Director Friebel seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you.
One final thing.
Yes.
There is a maintenance report on your page 36. Activities that the maintenance crews have done at Bear Branch. And then page 37 and 38 has a little bit of dialogue on the active projects. So if you have questions, please let us know.
Have any questions? No? No, okay. Moving on again to item number 14. Consider and act on the supplemental agreement with SJRA for issuance of bonds in connection with Tier 1 water line renewal projects, including discussion on timing of the Tier 1 water line renewal projects and review of district payment options.
It's another deferred this month, so trustees are still taking a look at it.
That's right. I think you mentioned that. Okay, it's being deferred. Till September. Okay, now, moving on to number 15, receive the attorney's report.
Only item I have there is another friendly reminder, if y'all haven't completed your cyber and AI training, the deadline's the end of this month, so gotta get it done. If you haven't, I don't know who's done it and who hasn't. Shelley does, so I've just asked her. Exactly. So,
And then it talks about that security stuff.
Yep,
Computer stuff.
Okay,
that's all I have under item 15.
thank you. Number 16, consider and act on ratification of pay application number 7 for the retail wastewater collection system rehabilitation year 2. It's
Yes.
page 56.
We talked about that last month, but we put an agenda item to ratify that because we didn't have one last month. So passing number 7 was in the amount of $244,663, of which your share was 11,400. So I need approval, motion to approve your share 11,400.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Director Wagner makes the motion, Director Walker makes the second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries. Thank you.
Next item is pay up number 8. There is one, but Mud 60 does not have any work that was completed within that past week, so no action.
So will that be deferred or just no action?
No action.
You just don't have a share in that particular. It's 26,000, excuse me, 24,956.12. But you didn't have any work done.
Okay, so we really didn't need it on our agenda, I guess.
Well, we put it on there so that last month doesn't happen and make sure that it is on there.
Okay,
Because there was a pay up 8, you just didn't have any piece of it.
thank you. Okay, number 18, consider an act on appointment of representatives and alternate to serve on the community working group. And we did that, 2 years ago? So we need to redo this?
Or just because there was new directors, we put it on the agendas just in case the MUDs wanted to make
Okay.
any changes.
Okay, I think 2 years ago, I was the representative and I think Director Shu was the alternate, but I don't know what we want to do now. So I'm open to, Dale was the alternate.
I was the alternate, and then Bob
Okay.
Lux was there too, right?
Yeah, I was on it also.
Yeah.
I showed up in the meetings
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do this year? Community working group, want to be? You're asking me to be on it again?
No, he's pointing at me.
I thought you were gonna volunteer to be the security intrusion group, the one that kind of sneaks up on the dam.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
I'll set up my drones, but
Okay, so do we, what do you feel about that, Director Shu? You want to be on the representative and who wants to be the backup to that? I guess I could be the,
I can do it.
okay, so,
I'd be happy to do it.
because they meet like once in a while, like once every couple of months.
Fine.
Yeah.
I will be the backup.
Okay, thank you. So I guess that could be in the notes that Director Shu is the community working group rep and Director Wagner is the alternate. We don't need to vote on that, do we? We just volunteered ourselves. Okay, thank you.
well, I volunteered.
More like voluntold.
Voluntold.
I think you
Okay,
do great.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 19, received and or act on the general manager's report. I guess that would be Eric again.
Page 71 starts the report. As you can see on page 71, the summary of projects ongoing, new redevelopment projects, about 201 projects, of which we had 28 inspections on those types of projects last month, and then about 1,800 work orders throughout the Woodlands. Pretty busy month for us. On 73, 74, 75, and 76, you can see some examples of the types of work we've been doing throughout the different MUDs. You've had pictures come and go in this list over the last year. And as I mentioned earlier in the budget, we anticipated that work would be about 12 to 18 months, maybe longer. So we're on track with the work that we've set out to do on the bad pipe that we saw. We are going to do a little bit more focus on desilt and continue the tree trimming cutback on the ditches so that we can access them better. So we're going to do a little bit bigger push on that this coming year. But that's all budget.
On the, I noticed somewhere, I think in the budget paperwork, you were estimating 2 taps.
Yes.
That's gone down because we're on the backside of the studies, if you would.
Right. We never know how many that there are going to come in. So we kind of just ballpark and look at the last few years and see. I mean, obviously we know what undeveloped properties are in this from a general standpoint, but it's a guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we had very little in our mud anyway.
Exactly. So not anticipating much.
So I'm making myself the seasonal pest at the Indian Springs Commercial Center. And every time they mow in July, I think they mow with small brush hogs or something. They break every sprinkler head along those medians. And it's been leaking for like weeks, 4 weeks, right? And I make myself a pest. I go in and I talk to Frost Bank, I talk to Chase. Bank of America doesn't have that problem because it's not as much on the hill. I go into HEB and I say, do you realize there's money in the parking lot? And they look at me and I said, yeah, there's money all over the place. And they look at me and they go, what are you talking about? I said, you're watering the asphalt. And this isn't the first time. There was one time a couple of years ago, they had a leak that was, I'm exaggerating, it was like a Olympic-sized pool of water. It was at least 3 to 4 feet deep in an impoundment behind the privacy fence. And it was leaking into the loading area. And they go, well, what do you want me to do about it? And I said, call somebody, get somebody out there to fix it, and then charge your landlord, whoever owns this. Well, we've already contacted the landlord. So a couple of years ago they did, and they repaired it. A week later, it's leaking again. So I'm looking out for everybody here. And when they said, well, we've contacted the landlord, and I said, well, call them every single day because your leaking is driving up your cost and damaging your profitability. And since I live here in Mud 60, that's also going to drive up my costs incrementally. So I have a vested interest. And they go, who are you? And I said, actually your representative on Mud number 60. What? I said, I represent you and I'm looking out for you. Just get it fixed.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm on a rant. I had my rant.
No, that's good. We have DIS, the Defined Irrigation Schedule ambassadors, 2 part-time guys that drive around the woodlands to have that very discussion.
Well, if they're in the process, go to Indian Springs.
They have.
Okay.
The commercial ones are a little harder to nail down
They
because
are.
of exactly what you've just.
Well, what they do is they have these cutouts. Well, it's not my job. Well, yes, it is.
Or there's an overriding landlord for the whole property.
Well, I give them an option. Find the valve and shut it off. How hard is that? I said, I got a pair of pliers. No, don't you touch anything. No, I'm serious. I told him, just find the valve. So I'm sorry.
No, that's good information.
Eric, before you move on, it's a side thing, but I don't want to forget it.
Okay.
Kim, maybe you have the answer for this, but maintenance on the fire hydrants. And I got a compliment. We've hired a third-party company to go in and do the maintenance work. And there's one I live on a corner and there's one right on the corner on my property, or it's not my property, obviously, but they spent, oh my God, 4 or 5 hours out there just because everything was rusted up bad and they're pounding away 100 degrees. And I went out and had a conversation with them just to see what they were doing. It was on the maintenance schedule. I don't know, and they didn't know if there was a problem with it. It just was on the schedule and they showed up to fix it, right? But they did a great job, I think. we had trouble getting the bolts off. I mean, pounding away. I mean, they were hitting iron on iron for 4 or 5 hours. The question I have is, they did the maintenance work on that and it actually needed to be painted. Is it a different crew that comes out to paint these things?
It may be, I can't step on it.
I didn't ask them that question. I didn't.
Right. So usually after the audit, all their findings, they're working to address all those findings throughout the next year before the next audit. So, I can look, you said it's near your home.
Yeah.
Right? I can look to try to find the hydrant and see if it's on the schedule to.
It just seems like the right time if the maintenance guys have the contract. I don't know if they had the contract. I didn't bring it up with them.
It could be a different crew. I don't know that answer offhand. I'm happy to find out for sure and to make sure that it's on the schedule to be painted. And if not, when, or we can note it to be painted. So I can find out.
I have to question whether it was even working. Because when they finish everything, they turn it on and flush the system, if you would, to make sure everything's flowing right. And I don't think any water came out. It was all rust. It was incredible amount of water did come out with it. It killed the grass, no big deal. I'm not bringing that up, but the amount of rust that was in it it needed to be maintained, no doubt. So well done.
If it was out of service, those are a higher priority too. And so that might be why they got out there so quickly to address it possibly, but we can look at it and see what's going on with it. I just need to make sure I identify the right hydrant.
Yeah, I asked them that kind of question and they said, well, it's on our schedule. We're just here to do it.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
possibly just the maintenance, but we'll look at it and see if it's scheduled to be painted or, just the history to see what was found here in the audit about a service.
I noticed up and down Grogan's Mill, I live off of Grogan's Mill, and up and down Grogan's Mill, they were out painting them.
Yeah.
And I would presume that's our mud.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm inside the community, so, just a comment, but these guys, man, they were champs.
Yeah, we'll look
Hard
at it
work.
for you and see if it's due to be painted, so. Sure.
Okay, that's all. Sorry, Eric.
Let's see, any other questions on the actual report?
Eric, I sleep with a constituent and she mentioned to me that I was, it's my wife, it's my wife. She mentioned to me that, our water bill was not drafted in June. However, it was double drafted in July. Was there a drafting issue in the system at all, or was it just something that happened to us?
Are you on auto pay?
Auto pay.
Yeah, I think that was the issue.
Auto pay was effective in June. Okay, yeah. She's an accountant by trade, so she asks me these questions and I do the typical husband. And then she says, aren't you on the mud board? I'm like, yeah, okay, figure it out. So it's not, now I gotta ask to continue to keep sleeping with my constituent. It's,
Issue has been corrected.
thank you.
Did want to point out in your packet, there's a copy of the revised global GRP global amendment that we talked about earlier this year or last year. And there's no agenda item for us to discuss today. I wanted to get it in your hands, so we'll probably likely put agenda items on all of them. Look at it. I'll send it to you, at least that version. That's the votable version.
What page is it again? I'm trying to find it.
Starts on page
41, 40, 40, up,
40.
a lot of pages, up to 53.
Oh, that one. Okay, I see it. I see it.
Starts on page 40.
Yeah.
So
But we don't have a vote in this. We just have a recommendation in this, right?
recommendation to the Woodlands Division.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that will be on next month's agenda again.
Like to discuss this.
It's gonna be busy.
And with that,
John Geiger.
go over to John.
Right, perfect. These are shower timers, Woodlands Water branded shower timers. Stick that on your shower wall,
Is that?
flip it over, it gives you 5 minutes.
I need this for my husband.
Yep,
Like being
So
in the
can we
Navy.
put in an order later for my whole street?
I've got a lot.
You need
Is it
this
on
for
a swivel?
your teenage daughters. That's what you need it for.
That's
They're all
good.
over my house.
If you go like that, you can take as long as you want.
So for those of you who actually shower regularly, knocking off 1 minute of shower on your average shower, just 1 minute will save you about 1,000 gallons a year. Not nothing.
Well, I've been getting my text messages from the Water Smart. It says, you've exceeded your normal usage and my plants are very happy. But with this dry, it's coming through really well. It's this, you use X number of gallons and this is way above your normal.
Getting them now too, yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a dry stretch for sure.
Well, I've been trying to get the whole neighborhood to make sure that they do that and stop watering during the middle part of the day kind of thing. And they're coming around.
If you see them with, if there's automatic sprinklers going off outside of the defined irrigation schedule, we'd love to know because we can send our ambassadors around some education for folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just shoot me a text or an email.
I think it was operator error on the ring
That
burn.
happens. Yeah.
So I go around and help them.
So,
You mean I can choose the days that it'll water? Not every day? No, actually, there was a neighbor that was it was every day. So I was like,
not good for the lawn either.
No.
We are, still in the water conservation focus area. Page 84 for your report. So, that'll take us through the end of the month and then we're going to transition to value. It's our fourth quarter focus. But you'll still hear lots of conservation. We message on that year round. We've got a new video out. You can see that looping on the screen outside the room. The sound is off. There is audio to that. Or you can watch it at home. Just QR that code right there. Check out that 2.5 minute video on where our water comes from. We've got more planned as we continue to get more into video as a basis of our communications. Next one would be on wastewater. All right, the current bill out is on the Wise Guys program. On page 85, Woodland Water Weekly, reminding directors that if you're not getting that, QR that and get that. That's a really good way to just keep your thumb on the types of communications that we're sending out. Of course, it's just one of our many channels, but it gives you a good encapsulation, again, of the types of stuff that we do communicate on. On page 86, you'll see examples of each of our 6 social media platforms. If you're on those, please just take a second to like and share content. It helps with the algorithm.
Yeah. I see you next door and I've been liking them.
Thank you. I see you on there. That helps. I appreciate it. And then on 87, you'll see that we have an in-person outreach calendar that's developing for the fall. Always, for any of our events, directors are welcome to come out and hang out with us and talk to folks at any and all of these events. So, any questions?
I noticed the USGS is coming back about the aquifer levels.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a great follow-up because we had that last year. Let me get that right. Am I off?
We do it annually.
Okay, it was.
That on.
That was really good.
Yeah, so they'll be back doing the same thing and just another year update. That's Jason Ramage with the USGS. That's on the 24th. You can attend that in person at Park or Gosling and Research, or you can watch it online, stream it live.
Okay, I'm thinking, I don't have.
Back in there by Lone Star campus, right on that corner,
Okay,
tucked in there.
okay.
It's kind of hidden. It shows up on Google Map or Apple Map.
Mhm. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, John. Okay. Do number 21, I don't think do we need to recess the closed session
Do not,
to consult with the district attorney?
we do not.
We don't need to? Okay, good, thank you. Okay, we don't need to do 22 reconvene, so now we're at the end. Do we have any other matters we want to discuss on the future agenda that we are seeing none? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Shoe motions to adjourn.
A second.
And Director Walker seconds. Okay, we are adjourned at 12:55.